Hello, carjackers and spoiled, indiscriminately aged girls of the world. Today, we take a look at what happens when a young actress gets too much fame too fast and decides she knows what makes a good movie. So shoot up some heroin to get your voice just right and make some pouty faces to endear yourself to the audience. This is Crushed Celluloid.
So, today we will be discussing 1997's Excess Baggage. Came out in 1997 at a time when Alicia Silverstone was a star for some reason.
Well, Clueless. She was a star because of Clueless.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's like her only good film.
Yeah, no, that's that's what Excess Baggage is made off of, pretty much. She used her fame from Clueless to start a production company when she was still in her teens, and she made this movie. And I'm not sure if they ever made anything else. I did not look into that.
Yeah, I didn't either. This is probably the first and last. I don't know, maybe they produce more, but this came a point, like, she got really big with Clueless, and so she was kind of a big star. She was able to do stuff like this movie, but after doing this and, like, Batman and Robin, she kind of faded into obscurity.
Yeah, I mean, it's more Batman and Robin than this, I'm sure. I think she kind of had to go
into
hiding. Well,
this certainly didn't help.
No, but it isn't god-awful the way that Batman and Robin was, and it's not offending an entire community of people. Like, Excess Bag is just forgettable.
That's really definitely true. It was definitely forgettable, and it was not a huge flop. I'm sure it made its money back after home video, but it definitely did not make its budget back on initial release.
No, I would not imagine.
Oh, funny thing about the screenplay for this, though, it's written by a lady named Max D. Adams. Mm-hmm. And this screenplay, she won an award at, like, the Austin Film Festival for screenwriting, and it was purchased by Columbia, and then eventually led to Alicia Silverstone getting this movie made.
Interesting. Because I want to say, like, I don't know if this is just in the nature of what we do, or if this is just a lot more common than I thought, but we have done so many movies that don't seem like they have finished screenplays when they go into production. Like, it's just, like, it feels like so many people are just kind of ad-libbing weird little lines that don't make sense with what's going on in the film.
Yeah, and we have no idea how much of her original screenplay actually made it to screen, because it was definitely, they brought in two guys to do, like, rewrites on it, I guess, or redo the script, named Dick Clement and Ian Lefroy. It's like a partner of dudes that have been working together since the 60s. Kind of the biggest name stuff they've done that I came across was they did the Judge Reinhold Fred Savage movie Vice Versa from the late 80s, and they also worked on the screenplay for Across the Universe.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well then.
The director of this film, though, Marco Brambilla, he has directed this and Demolition Man.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
The best 1-2 punch combination of any filmmaker ever.
And he was just like, you know what? I've said what I need to say. I'm
out. I did my business. That's it. That's all you need from me.
He just dropped the microphone, but the audience had left a long time ago. Hey, how's that?
That's good. That's good.
That's
right? Poetry.
Yeah, that's what do you call it? One of those metaphors.
I don't think that's what you call it. I don't know much about these metaphors that you speak of, but I don't think that's it.
Is it like a meteor? Anyway.
Meteor Man?
What? It might be a lot like Meteor Man, which sounds kind of like Demolition Man.
Whoa.
We just came full circle, man.
Full circle.
Anyway,
but
Demolition Man.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, of course, famous for having 3 clamshells to clean up after you do bathroom business.
I've been trying to figure that out ever since. I've had 3 in my bathroom. I've been trying to figure out how it works.
I think you have to get them gilded, and then the secret will come, because you can't just use regular seashells. Come on.
All I know is that my butt has hurt since 1994.
According to Stallone, you're supposed to use it like a claw, like a pincher, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. Who would want to do that to themselves? Horrible. Anyway, that's not the movie we're talking about. We are talking about Excess Baggage,
which earned Alicia Silverstone a nomination for Worst Actress from the Razzies.
She definitely deserved it, but it's also strangely the movie. Well, he did another one. He did I forgot. I can't remember which one after this, but Benicio del Toro. Essentially, this is the last kind of shitty movie he did before he did Fear and Loathing, and his career just like took off, and he was in.
It did. It kind of started, like, this is when he started to get big, but it was Fear and Loathing that really crossed him over, because just the year, or 2 years before this, he did The Usual Suspects, and that was his first big film.
Yeah, he did do that one. I forgot about that one. But yeah, I mean, pretty much since then, like, well, I guess since Usual Suspects, except for Excess Baggage, he's had a pretty good record. I mean, he works a lot, but it's still a solid record.
Oh, no, he does very good movies.
Yeah, he's impressive in his choice. He makes very good choices.
And basically, since he got big, this is the only film I could really see in his filmography where I was like, this is a paycheck. Like,
yeah. And even Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 out of his 4 stars. Surprisingly, he enjoyed it. He said Alicia Silverstone was way out of her league, but Benicio del Toro was awesome.
Which I kind of agree with here. Yeah, like, yeah. I enjoy him, although I do kind of keep wanting to call him Benicio Doorknob. Or Benicio del Knob. I like that too.
there you go. So let's get into the movie.
I will say I'll just give you the tagline for the film, which I think will set up what this film was trying to do, which was to be kind of like somewhat of a dark and gritty kind of crime movie, but also be like a teen romance movie. So the tagline for the film is a crash course in kidnapping, car thefts, and other rituals of dating. Yeah.
That's annoying.
Yes, it is.
Just so that kind of follows along with how this movie opens up, which is a voiceover with Alicia Silverstone saying, "All I ever wanted was a father to protect me." Like, Jesus, really? We're starting at daddy issues?
Oh, we don't just start at daddy issues. We go to completion with daddy issues. Which is why this girl of indiscriminable age, who I guess is at least 16 since she has a car, but definitely seems like she is 18 or under, probably.
Yeah,
ends up dating a guy that is at least in his late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, he's getting to his 30s. It's strange, and he keeps feeding her alcohol. It's really unsettling, because, I mean, Alicia Silverstone does look pretty young, and I think she was like 17 when she was making this movie.
No, she was a little bit older than that. I think she was like 20 or 21. But Del Toro was already like 30. Like he was actually a good 10 years older than her when they did this movie.
Okay, and they were dating at the time, which is another little tidbit.
Yeah.
Which you can't tell from their chemistry, but
not at all. This must have happened after the movie. Maybe they gained chemistry afterwards.
This movie should be called Awkward Alternative Music Cues to
Which, again,
scenes that
something
don't make
about
sense.
the music is that I learned through the credits that John Lurie did the music for this film, who, of course, you know from like Down by Law, the show Fishing with John. Yeah, that John Lurie. Yeah, but the thing is, like, it is mostly kind of like mid to late 90s music in it, and I didn't really notice any like score or any kind of music that was any good throughout the movie, so that made me feel bad that he didn't seem to contribute anything that caught my attention.
Yeah, no, it's just alternative songs from the 90s. Like, that seemed to be the soundtrack, except for maybe like standard shit going on in the background.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I guess the standard shit was his, which kind of makes me sad.
Yeah,
and I will say that I remember liking this movie as a kid, quite a bit actually, and I think you did too.
I remember not thinking it was horrible. Like, I don't think I ever liked it. I think I kind of watched it and I was like, that's good. But I don't think I ever went, because I remember I bought a used VHS copy when I was in Hawaii at a flea market there, and I brought it all the way back to America.
That's your only memory of Hawaii is excess baggage.
I got excess baggage there, and my God, my life was changed. Anyway.
Oh, but the thing I was going to say is that the one completely horrible offense that I can never forgive this movie for is I think it might be part of the reason Dave Matthews Band got big.
I want to say this has to be after the fact. Like,
I don't know, but I cannot forgive it because it uses that fucking song "Crash" not once but twice in this film.
No, it uses both like two songs that were used in each kind of like romance scene are both used twice. Like it goes Crash, then this other 90s song I don't recognize, back to Crash, back to this other 90s song I don't recognize. It's
and that's pretty much all we have to discern the fact that they are falling in love. Like, we can't tell it through the way they act, the way they talk, the way they look at each other or anything. It's only through those music cues do we know that they like each other.
Pretty much, yeah, because... Yeah, otherwise it's this creepy old man and this extremely whiny teenage girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we find out Alicia Silverstone's kidnapped herself. She's getting her dad to pay $1 million so that she feels like she's loved because she has all these daddy issues, and her dad's like uber wasp man. Like, he has this weird British-ish accent.
Which I thought was funny too, because he is very British, and I was just like, okay, well, how come she has no discernible British? It's the same thing as fucking Batman and Robin. She was fucking Alfred's, like, niece or whatever, or granddaughter, and she didn't have any kind of a British accent. Just back in 1997, 1998, they did not care about accents. Well, no, I think back in 1997, 1998, Alicia Silverstone, for some reason, was the go-to British actress, even though she was not British, and would not do an accent. Her and Kevin Costner, man, I don't know what it is. They just refuse to do British accents, but still get cast as British people.
It's a strange, strange world we live in. So, as she tapes herself up to get in the car, or to get in the trunk of her car so her father can find her, Benicio del Toro ends up stealing the car. And this is there's a weird thing about Benicio's character, which is he has all like this technology and he seems so good at what he does, but he also seems like an idiot. Like, it's just kind of dropped when I thought like he had all this high-tech stuff everywhere and he seemed so knowledgeable that I thought, maybe he'll MacGyver something sometime, or, maybe it will come back.
Because he didn't have his case on him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, so...
One little detail about this early carjacking that I just fucking baffled me was that, okay, so Benicio del Toro walks up to the car, like in a parking garage, an empty parking garage, by the way, and he has, like, suit and tie, sunglasses, briefcase, walking like he knows where he's going, and then he breaks into the car, and literally, as soon as he breaks in and turns off the alarm and gets it started, he immediately takes off, like, a clip-on tie that he was wearing for that. Like, why the fuck do you need to wear a tie just to get to the car and hijack it and then take it off immediately? Like, do you really think doing it that fast and doing it that well that you needed that tie to give the illusion that you were not trying to steal a car?
The tie brought together the ensemble. After he took it off, it's like, oh, look, I'm a street guy, Without the tie.
That's what we call character development.
That's what passes for character development in this movie.
And also, the whole thing with the car that gets the movie going, I don't know thing one about cars, but is that even a nice car that she has? It doesn't look like that nice of a car.
Maybe back in the... I don't know, I thought... Was it like a Benz? I don't know.
I don't even think it was. Like, it looked like something I could own, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, then again, maybe this is 1997, so now nice cars look like things that we would own. Good point.
That does look like about a 15 to 20-year-old car that I could own.
Yeah, I think that may be. I have no idea either. I don't know about cars. We don't do cars.
Hey, you know what we should do?
Get cars?
No, we should do that movie Cars.
but kids love it.
Hey, we should do that movie Cars. That's all I have for that.
Well, you killed that. Killed our excitement about excess baggage.
We had no excitement about excess.
No.
Which, by the way, I guess we should point out the fact that we were actually going to do this movie a week ago. But as soon as we started recording, my computer fucked up on me and was out of commission for a little while. So we're actually talking about this film with a week's distance, which, might seem bad, might seem like we're going to be a bit too rusty on it or something. But when I actually think about it, I think it was a blessing in disguise, because I've been doing nothing but thinking about excess baggage all week long. And I think it's taken that much time for it to really sink in, for me to grasp all the complexities in this. I can't even do that anymore.
Yeah. So Benicio steals the car. He gets chased by cops. He goes back to his place, finds Alicia Silverstone in the trunk. And I will say, up to this point, Benicio del Toro has done nothing but had this strangely stupid look on his face. Like, at any point in time, his mouth is just kind of hanging a little bit open. Well, it's like he's constantly mugging for the camera. Yeah. It's weird.
Well, and his whole delivery in this movie is just strange. That's the best way to describe it.
You know who he sounds like? He sounds like Jim Carroll's little thing he did as the old heroin junkie in Basketball Diaries, the movie. Like, when he makes his little cameo, and he's like, "One time I shot up in a church, man." Like, it sounds just like that. I was like, is Benicio supposed to be a junkie? What's happening?
Well, he even kind of looks like it a little bit in this movie, but he's not. He's supposed to be more, like, straight and narrow, minus the fact that he steals cars. But maybe that's where he drew his inspiration from. He saw the Basketball Diaries right before this went into production. He's like, I got you, Jim Carroll.
But yeah, so he sounds like a fucking heroin junkie throughout the movie, which, so I kind of assumed he was gonna be like a junkie or something, but no, that's not the case.
That would be too much of a character arc for him to go through.
Yeah.
Because then they would have had to do like, he was a junkie, but then he met Alicia Silverstone, and she got him to change his ways, and he got her to stop being such a whiny little bitch, and they love each other.
Yeah, but that's too much movie. We gotta nail this one out, guys. So Benicio goes to call Harry Connick Jr.
Because Harry fucking Connick Jr. is in this movie.
Yes, actually, this is probably the most I've enjoyed him since The Big Green. Hi-oh.
I don't even remember him in The Big Green.
I think he was like the sheriff.
I think that was Steve Guttenberg, dude.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that was Steve Guttenberg. I
sworn he's in The Big Green.
I'm pretty sure that's Steve Guttenberg.
You know what? Yeah, he wasn't. I think I am thinking about Steve Guttenberg.
Okay, so we're going to have a long discussion after this about what in the world would make you confuse Harry Connick Jr. with Steve Guttenberg. I think those are some deep-seated issues that we need to work through in our therapy time after the show.
It's a strange place in my mind.
Yeah, no, but I haven't enjoyed Harry Connick Jr. much for anything and anything he's ever done, except Independence Day. He was pretty awesome in that. Yeah, I like him in Bug. I think he plays a sheriff in Bug. Maybe that's he wasn't the sheriff. He was the ex-husband of Ashley Judd's character. He wasn't the sheriff.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I guess he was also pretty good in Copycat, that movie with Sigourney Weaver, where he plays like a serial killer.
Don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, he was actually pretty good. Like, he plays kind of creepy and bad-hearted pretty bad.
I could see him doing that well. But that's not what he's here to do in Excess Baggage. But I will say about this scene...
What is he here to do in Excess Baggage? Because it's not much of nothing.
It's like this weird middleman that doesn't need to be there. I don't get why he's in the movie at all. And there's this, I do love the scene where Benicio's going to try and call him. So he goes to this diner with this waitress that sticks out her boobs, and they make sure to film that very, very presently, so you're always aware of this woman's large breast. But he's waiting to use a payphone, and the guy using the payphone that he's waiting for is having an inexplicable conversation about a VCR, where he's like, no, you gotta turn the power on, you gotta hit pause and record, and then when you hit pause again, alright, then you just hit the record button, hit the pause button. It's like, none of this makes sense.
He's explaining to his mother how to use a VCR.
But what could he possibly be explaining how to do with that long string, like, of pause and record? Like, is that just a 90s joke of VCRs being hard to set the timers to?
I don't know. Maybe he was teaching someone how to, like, edit on videotape?
I gotta tell you from over here how to do... We'll get your independent film edited through 2 VCRs. Anyway, thought that was kind of funny.
I'm sorry, I stopped listening.
Yeah, that's about as excited as I got for Excess Baggage. Was this man in his strange VCR conversation? Yeah. Then we get our first scene of Benicio and Alicia together.
Yeah, which I will say, the scene where he actually first like opens the trunk and sees her tied up in there and kind of like slips and like closes it real quick and stuff. That still made me laugh. I actually thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. No, it's pretty. The first part's pretty good. Then he eventually chains her up, and then we get Harry Connick Jr., who goes in there, like, he's looking at her in the bathroom, like, just staring at her straight on. He's like, and then afterwards, like, did she see your face? I'm like, but she just saw your face. Like, what is anybody doing here?
I don't know. They're not very good criminals.
No, they're not.
Which, apparently, Harry Connick Jr. is just, like, a used car salesman that happens to, like, work with Vincent to steal cars for this big boss guy that we never even meet. Like, that's, yeah.
Yeah, but the big boss guy, yeah, he has 2 henchmen that seem like they would be even lower than Harry Connick Jr. Like, the hierarchy of this criminal organization has way too many middlemen. Like, who's making the Anyway, it's fucking stupid. But I will say, I guess Styx doesn't come up yet, because I love Styx. I can't wait to get to Styx. But then we meet Christopher Walken as creepy Uncle Ray, and he has a very thankless role that he doesn't do much in. Like,
he really doesn't, but he's still better than everyone else in this movie.
Yeah.
So, even though he doesn't have much to do in the film, Christopher Walken is still way better than anyone else in the movie. And that's because he's the only one that actually has to emote in a couple of scenes. Because he plays kind of like the right-hand man of Alicia Silverstone's father. And he pretty much just, like, he's all about taking his orders, doing what he's told, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, he kind of feels for Alicia Silverstone because he's been around, like, her whole life. He even kind of feels for Benicio del Toro because he knows he's not a bad guy or anything. So he kind of, like, walks that line and kind of leans one way or the other from time to time in the film. So he has the most to do character-wise, but it's still not much in this film.
No, and yeah, he's like the father that Alicia Silverstone never had, even though he's a soldier for her father. It's a very weird dual role for anyone to be playing, especially to be written to a script like this.
Yeah, basically that girl has all sorts of messed up daddy issues.
Oh, so many daddy issues. I do like, so Benicio is like, okay, I'm gonna take her out, drop off in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't tell her this, but it's just a strange part, or not strange, actually, this is probably one of my favorite Benicio moments, where he's like, we could do this the hard way or the easy way, and she's like, she said something about it, he's like
the hard, it's harder than the easy way, man.
Oh yeah, it's harder than
because he keep being like, I'm not gonna hurt you, and he's like, we can do this the hard way or the easy way. It's like, the hard way? I thought you said you weren't gonna hurt me. He's like, just get in the car.
Yeah. I do like, and then once again these weird daddy, she's like, or are you going to hurt me like everyone else? Like, oh, boo fucking who.
Yeah, it must be so hard being extremely rich and being able to get away with whatever you want and do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's this movie's strangest misstep, is to make this completely unlikable character in Alicia Silverstone and not really ever try to humanize her. There's like one dream sequence that kind of humanizes
a little bit, but it's actually kind of creepy because her whole dream sequence is just dreaming that her daddy loves her, and that it's like, oh, I'll pay any amount of money for you, and all the reporters, and she's getting all the thing that humanizes her is that she desperately wants attention. That's the only character trait she has.
Yeah.
And that's not a good one.
No, and so, yeah, I don't know why they thought you would be rooting for her character, like, just because...
Probably just because she was Alicia Silverstone and she was big at the time. So she thought that no matter how shittily written this character was, people were going to be like, oh, I love Alicia. Go, Alicia!
They love my teenager character in Clueless. They'll surely love this one.
Yeah.
Anyway... So Alicia Silverstone also smokes in this movie. There's a scene where she gets in the car and she lights a cigarette, and Benicio gives her strangely specific instructions on how to put out the cigarette because she is about to do it wrong and set the place on fire.
Yeah, so
but
there's a big smoking is bad message in this film.
Not really. She kind of casually smokes for the rest of it. It's just...
Well, but but there's, like, Benicio del Toro or even Christopher Walken, like, there's always someone there being like, hey, put that out. Don't smoke. Come on.
Yeah.
She still does it, but again, she smokes and she sets her future lover's building on fire.
But that's because she did not follow his specific instructions
on
how to put it out.
His place is this huge, like, brick building, and yeah, she sets, like, a thing of rags on fire that are in, like, a buggy or something. But again, like, that flame, that's a huge, very tall building. Like, I don't really see anything else that could have caught on fire around it. Is the brick wall going to catch on fire right next to it? Like, there's not any... Like, I didn't see anything else around it. Pretty much I figured that buggy would just, like, burn out eventually on the cement floor.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, but of course it's a movie, so everything's going to catch on fire very easily. Yes. Because we need explosions, because it's an action movie, kind of.
Woo! I will say, the explosion in this movie reminded me of how unrealistic a lot of explosions look, because you kind of see, like, the flaming debris and stuff, like, and it actually looks like flaming debris, not like Hollywood flaming debris.
Well, yeah, because they actually blew something up.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was like, I didn't realize it's been that long since I've seen a real explosion on film.
Yeah, it's probably been a while.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give it credit for that.
Also, there's something I notice a lot more and more when I go back and watch 90s movies, even ones that I was a very big fan of. But, like, I don't know, very offensive gay humor was totally okay in the 90s. Like, stuff that you could not get away with saying these days.
Oh, yeah, they love the word faggot.
I know, like, Alicia Silverstone uses it in reference to, like, Benicio del Toro and Harry Connick Jr.
Well, she calls Harry Connick Jr. a faggot.
Well, no. She, like, Benicio del Toro's, like, going into the gas station. He's going to, like, make a phone call or something. He's like, what, you going to call your faggot boyfriend?
Yeah.
And even later on, Christopher Walken is like, I don't want you to go to jail with all them gangbanging lesbians.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that more and more in 90s movies when I go back and watch them. I was like, they just throw around, like, gay slurs all the time. And, like, I guess it was... Because I think I read an article recently about Can't Hardly Wait. And I forgot, like, how much there was in that movie, too. Like, how in the 90s you could have a party scene where it got really quiet because someone did something. And then someone just yells, faggot, and everyone laughs. Like, there's no way you could do that in 2014 in a movie.
No. It's, it was a different world. It's like it's been 20 years or something.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Okay. So,
welcome to Make the Marcus and Cole Feel Old podcast.
Imagine how old Alicia Silverstone feels by now.
Isn't she dead?
She's a vampire, last I heard.
Ah. So she's dead.
She was in, Undead.
Semantics.
Yeah, for that woman that made Clueless.
Yeah, Vamps or something like that. I think the last thing I saw her in, there was this movie called Ass Backwards that had June Diane Raphael from How Did This Get Made? It was like her and Casey Wilson. I guess they like wrote it and did it or whatever. It's an alright movie. It wasn't that great, but she was in there as like their old rival at the young girl beauty pageant shit.
Yeah, I saw that on her IMDb. I thought that was strange. I had no idea if she was in that movie.
Yeah, but she's just like a catty bitch in it. She has like 2 or 3 scenes.
Moving on.
Faggot.
More faggots, more clunky dialogue. There's this, it's horrible. Like, when she's talking to Benicio del Toro, she has this really long sentence that doesn't... She's like, it's all part of living on the razor's edge, never say die, world of Grand Theft Auto. And like, it is, I mean, it's even longer than that. She throws in more, like, live life dangerously references.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like, again, like any teenager writing a script that just wants to have really, like, smart, almost like Kevin Smith-esque, like, dialogue. And it kind of like Kevin Smith or Quentin Tarantino dialogue, but just don't really have the caliber of writing to pull it off.
Well, see, that's the strange thing, is the other half of the movie feels like they're improvising, so to throw in this really long sentence that no one would come up with on the spot is just, it feels strange. Like, all the dialogue in this movie just feels so strange.
Well, I think the majority of Alicia Silverstone's lines feel like that. Like, there are a couple
That's
where
true,
she doesn't have
yeah.
very many lines, but it seems like pretty much all of her dialogue was very much written out and tried to make her sound
Yeah.
like she was very intelligent or cool or badass or whatever. But everyone else kind of seems like Christopher Walken plays it very subtly. Benicio del Toro
Yeah.
does whatever the fuck he's doing. He does his Jim Carroll impression throughout the film.
Yeah. I wonder, like, I want to know how, like, if no one else, that's just from what, like, if that's just me, or if that's just us watching it, that we just get this heroin vibe from him, or if
Well, no,
that's
I
just
definitely did, and that's something that I didn't quite remember about the film when we went back to watch it this time. I kind of
Yeah.
thought he was into drugs or something, because I just remembered how he looked and sounded in the movie, and I just assumed that he was, like, a junkie or something.
Yeah, you know, you would totally think from the way that he's talking.
But no, just
I mean,
strictly good-natured car thief with a heart of gold.
that is also apparently a heavy drinker, but that's not really addressed either. Like,
It's not, but see, and again, throughout the entire movie, as they started to fall in love, I kept being like, there's absolutely no reason for these two people to even like each other. And I was like, oh yeah, alcohol, man. It'll make anybody fall in love.
yeah, that really is the impetus. That and Twinkies, but we will get to that.
Dude, you give a girl a Twinkie and she is yours forever.
Apparently, and fucking Dave Matthews play.
Or apparently, if a lady you meet put out a shitty little album in a cafe, if you buy the cassette and the CD, you are totally getting laid.
Totally. Even though that would just be weird and pandering.
I had a lot of my notes in this were just like completely referencing the fact that it is 1997, because this movie is sort of like a time capsule. This does feel like 1997. And a lot of it was just from the music cues. Like, the first time I heard Dave Matthews Band, I was like, damn you, 1997. And then, like, a little bit later in the movie, the Wallflowers One Headlight came on, and I was like, yeah, go 1997! And then a little while later, Dave Matthews Band comes on again, and I'm like, fuck you, 1997!
It was a horrible time. So Benicio del Toro tries to drop Alicia Silverstone off kind of like not in the middle of nowhere, but like 2 miles where she'd have to walk. And I love that his way of getting her, he gets her out of the car, and his way of getting her away is like, oh look, a shooting star, make a wish. And then he just tries to drive off. Like, she's a fucking child.
Well, she fucking falls for it, and she looks.
She does.
And then she has to run and jump on top of the car like a child.
Yeah. And then she scratches the hood, so he just decides to drive her closer.
But then he does treat her like a child the entire movie, even when he's like falling in love with her. He still treats her like a little child.
She's still acting like a fucking child.
And when she scratches the paint, he holds her and he's like, look what you did there. Look, you see, that's not going to come out. How do you feel about that?
Do you think I can buff that out? Do you know how much work I'm going to have to do, young lady? It's really creepy. Like, in this, Then finally after this part, we get to my favorite characters, or my favorite character, which is Styx. And
it's just
his
Stick,
partner.
singular Stick.
Stick, well, I think they call him, Harry Connick Jr. calls him Styx in the restaurant.
Well, that's
later.
probably being condescending.
Well, he can be condescended too. He's a funny, wise guy, you know?
Yeah, who actually, I don't know if you realize this, but he's played by Nicholas Turturro, who's John Turturro's little brother.
I did.
Which, by the way, when I actually looked through Nick Turturro's IMDb, I felt kind of bad for him. Like, because he started out, of course, the same way Turturro did, which is working in Spike Lee movies. So the start of his IMDb, the start of his career, he was in like 4 Spike Lee movies in a row.
Yeah.
And then he ended up doing stuff like Excess Baggage and doing like very sideline kind of direct-to-DVD kind of movies. And now he's gone from, in the beginning of his career, working with Spike Lee on a regular basis, to now he does all the fucking Adam Sandler, Happy Madison, Kevin James shit. That's what he's in.
Really?
Yeah, he's in all of those from like, I want to say at least like, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, like all the way through whatever the fuck they've been doing recently.
Yeah, he. I think he's. I saw. I didn't watch it, but NYPD Blue. He was a detective.
Yeah,
on that.
he was on that.
That's like his biggest part. I think, or like what he's known for.
But
so
again, like his first 4 like film credits were like fucking Malcolm X and Jungle Fever and Do the Right Thing. Like he was doing good, and Mo Better Blues. That was his other one. Those are the first 4 films he did.
So, yeah, started off strong.
So he started off with that and ends up at Happy Madison. Like that. What a way to go.
That is sad. But I love his introduction to this movie. And he's being this fast talking Italian. He's like, never drive a car like that. Never. Talking about like a fancy, nice car. He's just like, there's too much anger in the world, too much envy. If I saw a guy like me driving a car like that, it could get very ugly. You understand me, Gus? You listening to me? That's that scene.
That is an incredible Nick Turturro impersonation.
Thank you. I've been practicing for all week.
I know you have. I know your commitment.
But right after that happened, I was like, man, I would so rather be following these guys. Then I was like, ooh, a fucking spinoff of Benicio and his 2 wacky sidekicks. Think about it. Yeah. That's a much better movie.
Yeah, no, it definitely would be. Which also, something else I realized watching this movie, because I think me and you had the same thing going on. During this movie, I kept thinking about all the other movies springing off of this I'd rather be watching. And it made me realize that Benicio del Toro and Christopher Walken need to be in a buddy movie together.
Dude, they were, their scene together, like, where it's just them, is so amazing.
Yeah, I know. It was great. And I think they had way more chemistry than him and Alicia Silverstone had. I want to see them in a buddy movie. They can do Gone Fishing 2. I don't care. Gone Fishing 2, Bassmasters. I don't give a shit. I just want to see these two in a movie together.
Oh, I totally agree. So, to try and explain this weirdness that happens, after Benicio drops Alicia Silverstone back off, he finds out about his place catching on fire through the news. So he goes back to get her so she can call her parents so they can say that he's not the kidnapper, so that he can go home, even though going home means he's going to cop to stealing about $500,000 worth of cars.
Well, no, I don't think he meant going home, especially once he found out that his place was burning up. I think he meant like going to his little fucking cabin, or just leaving, just getting out of all that shit.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't get out of it at that point. It's like you still have a lot of jail time to do for the amount of cars you've stolen.
Yeah, that's true.
Like so it was weird, and this is the part where they're just arguing. He's like, "Come on, you need to tell your parents so I can get back to my house, man." And
he does. God damn it, he sounds like a junkie,
right?
But no, I think at this point, did he even know that his place had blown up?
Yes.
Okay,
because he heard it on the radio.
Okay, and then that was after the fact, and and that's so where she tells her dad that he made her touch his penis.
Yeah, well, first, he says, I got a Twinkie in the car. It's all yours if you get in. And then cue Dave Matthews crash. It is the craziest shit I have ever heard.
I think this movie had a deal with Twinkie worked out. To where, like, and it's like, no. Okay, you're going to give us money to make this movie if we try to prove that Twinkies make people fall in love. No, it's okay. I know it sounds like a tough thing to pull off. We have Dave Matthews Band behind us. I think we can get this done, guys.
I think we already bought the rights to Crash. I think we got this in the bag. Just throw it in there with the Twinkie reference. Yeah. So, yeah, then she gets to a phone and her immediate reaction is, Daddy, he made me touch his penis so that he gets... And at that point, it's like, what is this craziness? Like, why were they trying to sell a romance a minute before... she starts acting like a bitch again? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about our plot for Gone Fishing 2. That sounds so much better than this movie.
It's Benicio and Nick Turturro trying to get off the Jersey Turnpike and all the crazy stuff that goes on, because they have an old boat strapped to the back, and their trailer's not that good because they don't have that much money.
And all of a sudden they find that a homeless Joe Pesci wakes up in the boat freaking out, talking about cell phone coverage.
Hey guys, there's a shark back here.
It's like Joe Pesci's Mark Wahlberg impression.
I don't know what was going on there. Whew. All right. So anyway, let's get past a whole bunch of shit. And we get to where Benicio's dropped Alicia off.
Alicia del Silverstone.
Alicia del Silverstone. Dropped Alicia off at the motel. And once again, strange 90s romantic cues as he gives her a bottle of whiskey and she drinks it as if she doesn't like it. Even though later in the movie she's going to drink a scotch on the rocks like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Moving on. So Benicio goes to a cabin with a motorcycle in the living room for some reason.
Because he's a cool guy.
Yeah, that's what cool guys do. And this is where him and Walken get their scene together, and
it's so good.
It's so good. I love when he's like, Walken just kind of comes in, he sits down, and he's like, he has a gun, he puts his gun on the table and everything. So NBC is like, man, I don't know what you want, and Walken's just like, I'm Uncle Ray. He's like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Alicia Silverstone's Uncle Ray, because I don't know her fucking character name.
I think it's like Emily.
Sure, who cares? And Benicio has this insane laugh he does under his breath. Like,
because at first he thinks Christopher Walken is like a hitman sent from his boss, like his car thief boss, to come kill him. And yeah, when he finds out, like, oh no, I'm Emily's uncle or whatever, yeah, he gives him the fucking giggles, and it's so fucking funny.
But it's just like, it's this weird, like, almost frustrated giggle. It's like, like, it's so strange. I loved it. But anyway, yeah, so they have the scene together. They are amazing.
Yeah.
And then we have to leave that.
Yeah, because we gotta get fucking Alicia back in the movie.
Yeah, and so she's leaving her motel room. She goes to a diner, and I love the waitress that just kind of sees her being downtrodden, and she's like, I bet it's a man, and she just starts unloading her life story. Like, he tells you he's gonna buy you everything, and then he hooks you up with a kid. And just
I did find that scene very funny, but at the same time, it was extremely realistic. Because I've come across many waitresses that do that. Like, they see you looking down or something like that. They're like, oh, blah, blah. And then they just immediately unload their life story and all of their current problems on you.
Yeah. You think your life's shit. Let me tell you about mine.
And then I gotta fucking serve your ass.
I gotta fucking serve ungrateful ingrates. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then there's this... I do love... So Walken talks to Alicia Silverstone. This scene lasts for fucking ever. And they're trying to work it out where Walken's trying to give up Benicio, so Silverstone...
Yeah, we'll get off the hook for kidnapping herself.
Yeah.
Because basically that would be like extortion of her father for $1 million, as well as kind of like wasting all the police time and shit like that. So basically she would be in trouble, so he's trying to pin it on Vincent to get her off the hook. But the thing I love about this scene is that every like couple of minutes, Benicio del Toro just like walks back over and just like interrupts their conversation because he's just like waiting. He's like, I got a meeting, guys. I got to get out of here. And he has this line where he's like, getting tired of tossing the salad, if you know what I mean.
It's like, no, I don't think I do know what you mean, Benicio. I guess this is before the Chris Rock stand-up where that became more common, at least among my 8th grade peers. But I do love when they first meet. Like, Alicia looks up and sees Benicio after Walken sat down. She's like, miss me? And he's like, I guess fat lady don't sing. What am I supposed to do? Right, bodyguard? Referring to Walken. It's like, what the fuck did you just say?
You're actually doing a pretty decent Benicio del Toro impression from this movie. Like, his delivery is so fucking strange, and I couldn't put my finger on what it reminded me of, but you nailed it on the head. It totally is like Jim Carroll's cameo from Basketball Diaries.
It is.
Like, it's Jim Carroll's way of talking throughout the entire movie without the benefit of drugs.
Yeah, he's not a drug addict, but he is playing drug addict pitch perfect. It is amazing. Oh, not amazing. It's pretty whatever.
It's kind of brilliant in its own way. Because I have to admit, even though it was strange and it confused the fuck out of me throughout the movie, it was actually one of the most engaging things about the movie. I just wanted to see what he would do next, like where his delivery would go.
No, he's totally the wild card, and it feels like his lines were not written out for him. Hence the fat lady don't sing what am I supposed to do line, which doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. And then Alicia gets her acting moment where she tries to get a bunch of truckers to beat up Christopher Walken by acting like a redneck woman.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it.
Pretty much. But yeah, I don't know. there's a fight scene that we don't even fucking see, walking through some dude out of a window.
Which Benicio del Toro reacts to it by saying, that guy landed on his head.
Yeah.
What?
Which was hilarious, because if that were the case, that guy is dead.
That guy probably was dead.
It's like, oh, he landed on his head.
Yeah, I just love the way that he has to point that out.
Yeah. There's also a really good line somewhere around here where Alicia Silverstone is talking to Christopher Walken, and at this point I think he wants to kill Benicio del Toro. Like, he was just going to kill him and put the blame on him and say, like, oh, he saved her from the kidnapper. But Alicia Silverstone, like, kind of stands in front of him and is like, you're not going to kill him. And there's this look that comes over Walken's face that is just sheer brilliance. And he doesn't say a word, but the look is just like, you telling me I'm not going to kill somebody? And it's, like, all through facial expression, but it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Like I said, Walken and Benicio do the best they can in this subpar film.
Yeah, and Nicholas Turturro.
Yeah.
Stick for president.
Stick for president. Again. So now we get back to Harry Connick Jr. This convoluted plan comes out.
It is. Yeah, it's such a
Alicia's going to get the money,
complex plan.
We've really not covered the plot.
Well, it's stupid, but basically, Benicio, his place got torched, so all the cars he was going to be selling to his boss to make money that he already got the money for were gone, so he owed his boss that money. They found out that he was with this girl that had a rich father, so they wanted more money, and they come up with this big convoluted plot in order to get everybody out, and it works, and everyone's happy, and whatever, they do it in the trunk, the end.
No.
Best synopsis ever.
Best synopsis ever. You're trying too hard to end this.
I really am. I'm sorry. I have 2 more notes, and I'm trying to get to the last of them.
But like, there's this weird motel room scene where Benicio and Alicia are drinking. Once again, we have no idea how old she is. I'm assuming 16 or 17.
Well, she's definitely over 16 because she can drive.
Yeah,
she is definitely under 21 because she's not able to like provide an ID for drinks.
Yeah,
but I don't think she's definitely not in college. So I want to say at most she's 18.
Yeah. So I mean,
possibly even 17.
Yeah, so it's maybe legal. Who knows? And this whole like. It's supposed to be them falling in love, and I love that Benicio, his dream in life is he's gonna open up some karaoke bars in Brazil. Can you believe they don't have any karaoke bars in Brazil?
And Alicia just immediately shuts him down. It's like, you think you're the first fucking idiot that ever thought about going and putting karaoke bars down in Brazil? And my immediate thought was like, well, yeah, probably. Who the fuck would have a thought like that?
Exactly, like that is the craziest plan I've ever heard. She just shuts it
down, like, no, who the fuck would want to do you think you're the first guy that ever did it? I'm sure it just doesn't work. It's like, no, who the fuck would think to go put karaoke bars down in Brazil?
Like, this is like the mid-90s, like, were karaoke bars big back then? I don't think they were.
Not any bigger than they are now, which isn't very big.
Yeah, and so...
I mean, they're big in Japan, obviously, but...
Yeah, I do. And then there's this scene where, inexplicably, you'd think this would be kind of a metaphor for something, but...
Nope.
They're watching, the TV's on, and Benicio's like, man, check them out, they're fast. And it's these fucking, like, hyenas eating a lion or something.
Yeah, basically he's watching the Discovery Channel, more or less.
Yeah, and Elisa's like, oh my god, turn it off, shut it off. And he's like, I don't know how to use that thing.
Oh, and he just turns the TV around.
So, yeah, it's like, really? You can't find a power button on a TV?
It's usually just on the TV right there. Obviously, you had to turn the thing on, so...
Yeah, how did you get it
just
on?
Just do the opposite of that to turn it on. But no, he just, like, he pulls a move like a middle school teacher that has to, like, hide a nude scene from a class full of students. Like, he just turns the TV away. It reminded me a lot of our old teacher, Mr. Richardson, when he showed us The Shining in film class. When it got to the scene with the naked, creepy lady, he had to turn the TV around, and he looked exactly like Benicio del Toro did in that scene. He's like watching it and trying to see when it's over so she can look again.
Yeah. And so eventually he's like, you want some rum or tequila? And she's like, you don't have to be drunk to kiss me. And so
he's like, yeah, I do, because you're 17.
You're 17 and this is creepy as shit.
It's like, so I'm gonna have another tequila.
Yeah, until my morals sink low enough to get under that bar.
So they totally fuck. It's implied that they fuck.
I guess so. They wake up, like, the next morning, they're at a lake. That I even know they were anyway, they're out on a lake, and she's like, my shirt's stained, and they have...
Which is gross.
Yeah, that was weird. But there's also, it's just this whole... She's like, do you like my tummy? And he just gives her the creepiest stare. He's like, yeah, it's nice. Just like,
again, yeah, she's fucking goo-gooing like a little fucking kid, just like, do you like my tummy? And he's just like, yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
and she's like, I know you like my car. He's like, me and your car, we never got that close. Cue Dave Matthews fucking crash again. Inexplicably.
Because where do you go from there? I mean, you get drunk, you fuck, you make ridiculous statements to each other the next day, try to crack a joke that doesn't work. Dave Matthews Band runs out of the sidelines and starts playing randomly. That was the 90s, man. That's what we lived through. Anytime you had a ridiculous one-night stand with an underage minor, you wake up the next day, you crack a bad joke, and Dave Matthews comes out of the bushes and starts playing Crash. That's just how it was back then.
It's just the 90s. And so Styx and Harry Connick Jr. find them again, and there's this awesome scene, I love it, where... Like, all of a sudden, Styx is a badass. It's strange, because he's introduced as such a goofy character. And then, like, he's playing totally badass by the end, but they get in this whole, like, yelling contest, like, I want the money, blah, blah, blah. He's like, and Benicio just, like, this is the only time his voice raises below his junky lull, where he's just like, are you on drugs? What are you thinking, Stax? What are you thinking? And, like, this whole weird yelling contest happens in the back of the car. Anyway, I kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we get to the climax, because who cares about the rest? With a bunch of nice cars and Christopher Walken doing his Christopher Walken thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's essentially like, there's a bunch of cars and they're all covered, and like they're talking about money. There's not enough in the bag that they brought, and Walken's just like walking around like pulling off the tarps from the cars, and he said they're like they're trying to talk about money. He's just like, now this is a nice car. Dude, I can't do a walk. Like, dude, he's like, but I do have one question for you. Do I need that kind of horsepower? and it's funny.
Yeah. Well, especially like his reaction after he does that, the other guy, whatever the fuck his name was, the guy that wasn't Stick.
Yeah.
As he is known.
Not Stick.
Yeah, not Stick. He comes up and like breaks the fucking windshield of the car. And Walken's just like, he has this like very hurt look on his face, like, why would you destroy a beautiful piece of machinery like that?
Yeah.
It's like, that was uncalled for. And then he shoots everybody.
Yeah. So. and like Alicia,
and what's so weird about this is that, I don't know, this is supposed to be the big climax, the big finale of the movie, but it's so fucking anticlimactic. Like, there's
it is.
Like, pretty much nothing happens. It's all set up, and then once everything is set up, within, like, less than 2 minutes, it's all resolved. Walken shoots the two guys, Alicia Silverstone, like, drives a thing through glass, and then they walk out. The end.
I think that's what was supposed to be the big climactic thing, was like, oh, look, she drove through glass. Like, that was supposed to be their big set piece, without realizing they have to build a scene around that.
Yeah, pretty much everything was already pretty much resolved when that happened. Walken was on point. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. And then they get money from her father, so her and Benicio can go make karaoke bars in Brazil. Who knows what's happening?
Yeah. But there's a little switcheroo here, because they go to her house and she gets money from her dad and she leaves. But this time, he's been in the trunk the whole time. And then they talk a little bit. They still have no chemistry. They still have no reason to like each other, but they do. And then they start making out, and they go in the trunk to do it and close the door. Which left me thinking, does that mean they are just stuck in the trunk until someone finds them or they fucking die? Because you can't open it from the inside. At least Silverstone wasn't able to open it from the inside. Like, it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Not thinking that through. But I do like that when they're sitting in the trunk of the car in the parking garage and like having their wine and stuff. once again points out the creepiness of the situation. He's like, how old are you? And she's like, old enough. And I mean, it's a callback, but at the same time, how fucking old is she? We still have no idea.
That was my last note of the film. I was like, how the fuck old is she? But then I remembered, after thinking about that, I was like, wait, when he first stole her car, he had her purse and brought it into his office. He fucking looks directly at her license for like a hot minute. He knows how old she is.
Yeah.
And I guess it's good enough for him, whatever the number may be.
It's like, hey, if she doesn't tell me her correct age, man, I didn't know.
You can't prove it because it got blown up in the fire.
You can't prove anything, coppers. Oh, young love, being locked in a trunk for eternity. Isn't that really what we're all looking for? Anyway, join us here next week for the school bully movie to end all school bully movies. Except, that it didn't. But we'll be looking at 1987's 3 O'Clock High. See you here next time at Crush Celluloid.